Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. Woo! Today on episode 144, I was very privileged to have Samantha Pointer Foxx on the podcast. She is a automated service provider, helping services-based small businesses owners translate traditional marketing processes into automated processes. My word, that is a tongue-tied twizzler. Got to say, I had a very enjoyable conversation with her. Many things were discussed about automation for marketing, about being organized, time management, and basically what she might be planning for the next stage for the new chapter of her business. But yeah, please listen on, have a great day, and yeah, thank you very much for your time and enjoy the show. Haha. Peace. Yo. Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. Woo! Today on episode 144, I am very privileged to have Samantha Pointer Foxx. She is a automation service provider, helping serve based small businesses owners translate traditional marketing process into automated processes. Did I get that right? I'm just a
Yes.
little bit tongue tied.
Start off with a tongue twister.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. How are you today, my lady?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful sunny day and it's warm, so I'm doing great.
I have to say, you are very lucky where you are. As I mentioned before we started this podcast, it has been somewhat of a wet day here in the UK. It has been somewhat of a wet month through the
Oh,
whole of like May. It's like been
oh,
crazy.
May.
Well, May, like April, it was completely dry, nice, great. And now May has become the new April. So
Yeah,
April
right.
showers. Yeah. Yeah, I have to ask, like, yeah, Samantha, how did you get started in what you're doing for a living? And what
Well,
are you doing for a living?
well, I got started many, many moons ago. Like I originally was a professional organizer, actually.
Ah,
So I went into people's homes, mostly hoarders, and helped them organize their stuff.
so, so giving them is it Mary Kondo lifestyle?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Ah,
So I started that like over 19, 20 years ago.
right.
And at I guess at each decade I would pivot and I started doing more like helping my clients organized their digital files as more and more people had computers at home,
Mm,
running their own businesses from home, home offices. I was really into getting people paperless and just organizing those digital files. And I've always been a techie person. So it was like a natural progression into more technology side of stuff. People would call me when, their tech was going down or if they had a tech question. So after getting kind of burnt out on the physical organizing side,
mm.
I went into just doing digital organizing for people, organizing their cloud stuff. And I met my mentor, Chris L. Davis, I'll say about 4 years ago, and learned more about marketing automation. And I was already kind of doing that, even, helping people with their back end and stuff,
Yeah.
back end tech stuff. So I joined this mentorship. And of course, I also say during this time, I started a web design business. So yeah, just doing a lot of stuff. So I was just doing like a jack of all trades. And about after I met him and learned more about marketing automation, and was really interested in marketing in general, because we all need marketing. We're all marketers as business owners. Um, I just married that together and fully focus now on helping small business owners get their marketing automation up, because I'm finding a lot of business owners are not tech savvy. If you're running a company, you rarely have time to learn new software. So that's where I come in. I make those automated pieces come together for you, so you're not doing stuff manually in your business, because that is a time suck when you're doing everything. You're sending out invoices manually, you're following up manually. All that manual stuff I want to get rid of for business owners, and just connect your back end and start helping you scale your business so you can grow.
Mm. Yeah, I can imagine with regards to like it's one of those things when you kind of look at when people start businesses and everything like this, they go, right, I'm starting a business, and like they go, I'm going for it. But
Right.
they just simply forget about some of the fundamentals. Like you go, right, okay, look at any business, like look at a big business or a medium-sized business in your local area.
Hmm.
What does it come down to? Branding and marketing. And many
Right.
people forget about that. Like,
Hmm.
and like this is the thing. Have you found it a sort of challenge trying to get people educated about, come on now, get the market down? It's like,
Yeah, especially the more money, if they're already making a good amount of money, it's
mm,
like, why do I need that? Why do I need email? Why do or I got social media, I'm doing pretty good there, but I'm like, hey, do you got a website? Do you own your own leads? No, it's all on Facebook, it's all on Instagram. Well, guess what? If they go away, you don't have a business.
yeah, no, that is a very important fact because, like, the whole thing is, I think a lot of people these days are just building on rented land. So
Yeah.
it's like, right, I've got, like, as you said, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram. It's like, yeah,
Hmm.
I've got a YouTube channel, but none of that information is truly yours. Not like,
Right. You can't follow up with
no,
nobody.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think COVID, happening last year showed a lot of even brick and mortar businesses. Hey, I
Mhm.
need a digital presence online. I need another way to reach out to customers if they can't come in, you
Mm,
know? So
yeah.
I think everybody was scrambling to get online and then get up to speed of how does that look? How does that work? And how do I reach my customers now? Oh, I haven't been collecting nothing, you know?
Yeah, that must be painful because okay, with regards to say the last year and a bit, where
Mhm.
like now here in the UK, it seems like it looks like the lights at the end of the tunnel, and over in the
Right.
States, it looks like the
Yeah.
lights on the out like at the end of the tunnel.
They're slowly opening back up, and yeah.
Yep. So like, did like being doing what you're doing, you must have had a sort of explosion of growth. Am I right about that, or am I wrong? What did you sort of find were the sort of greatest things? What
I
did you
definitely
think?
had more people come to me last year.
Mm,
Definitely. Uh, and some of the people who before was like, "Oh, I'm good,"
yeah.
I definitely saw more people wanting to really, get their email list set up, get that new product out, start a lot of these Zoom meetings, even for one national organization I'm a part of. They had to take everything online, the conference and everything. So now they went from just using Zoom
Yeah.
just as a meeting to, oh, how do we stream that to Facebook now? How do we get interaction? How do we set this up ongoing? So there was a lot of that new clientele that way of, having to get people up to speed on the tech without it being so overwhelming that they couldn't keep it going themselves.
Mm. Like, did you find there was sort of like you're like leading the game, like you're giving out the like you're the coach. Hey
Yes.
coach, hey coach. But was there anything what sort of surprised you when like yeah, the big pandemic hit?
Um mostly how even businesses that are making a good amount of money
Mm.
are not disorganized. Well, they are disorganized. They don't like their processes, business processes. None of that is documented. It's usually just all in the owner's head. So uh, that's not a good thing. Like how much of that was going on, and how many businesses weren't
Yeah.
tracking analytics, anything. So they don't know what's coming from where, how did I get this, so that was a bit surprising to me. Of Yeah, you can make a lot of money, but you could have made more. you know
Mm. Yeah, no, I hear that. I hear that. And like this is the thing when you say they're not putting down processes, like I had a my manager many years ago when I used to work in satellite communications. His name was Gregor. And like
Mhm.
basically he used to do this. He goes, yeah, and this might sound a little bit dark. It's like, yeah. He goes, yeah, if you were hit by a bus tomorrow, not that I want you to get hit by a bus, if you were hit by a bus tomorrow, how do I know what you do or how you do it or anything like this? It's like,
Right.
no. And I'm like going, yeah, that sort of hit by the bus principle has always sat with me. And I don't know why people don't actually think that way. Like it might be sound a little bit dark, but it can happen.
Exactly. People just jump into business, and usually when the clients come in and it starts to explode, that train is moving. So now it's hard, I guess, to think of all those things.
Mm,
Another reason why I'm so on to getting those business processes down is it helps you to hire, to outsource, because you're not having to train them
mm,
over and over every time you bring in a new person. If you have these processes already down, if you already have them stored somewhere, if you're updating them, it saves you money, because since I know what I'm doing in my business and what I need to accomplish this goal, I'm not just buying any tech thing that comes down the pipe. So it informs your decisions. So, you know.
yeah. I see. What do you think is the sort of biggest sort of common thing you always run across with many of these businesses, or which you're helping get their house in order, as they say?
um Really the email thing. They're either they have a list, but they're not sending to them,
Mm.
or if they are sending to them, they're sending to everybody.
Ah.
And so there's no segmentation. There's no, I'm sending what people want to hear to their specific, there's no segmentation, which all segmentation is basically what that person's interest is
Hmm.
and what they want to hear from your company. So every most people I've had just have one big list, and it might be a huge list, but again, it's dormant. So it's like, how can we utilize this? We got to clean this list up. We got
Mm.
to get people segmented in the right places so you can start sending out on-time messages, whether it's for your product or service or whatever. So you're just not sending messages willy-nilly, because not even if I bought from you, I might not want your newsletter. But I
Yeah.
do want to hear about your sale, or I do want to hear about the thing I bought from you.
Mm.
So
Yep. So, like, this is the thing. It's very interesting that you mention email. And, like, this is the thing, because if you listen to the sort of general consensus of whatever comes up before a YouTube video you might be watching, or, like,
mhm.
yeah, a simple search on LinkedIn or, like, on the web, it's all about social media this, social media that.
Right.
Know the value of social media. But when you go email list, what is like if I was a company, a business, or just starting out, what would you say like the value of each sort of email address would be for an individual or a company?
To me, your email list, they say the money's in the list. It's because you get to nurture. You
Mm.
get to nurture. Social media is quick.
Yeah.
So, and it's usually cold. So the person doesn't know you. They don't know anything about you. They just saw an ad pop up or, whatever you post out there, but they don't know you and they really don't trust you because anybody can be anybody on social media, right?
Mm.
Uh, so your email list is where you get a chance to fully explain who you are, what you do, how you can help them, and really educate them on your product, educate them on your service. And yes, it's a slower process, but it's a more profitable one because it's long term. It's
Mm.
just not the quick hit. It's long term because once they do become a customer or a client, you can continue to send them and sell them on the next thing or upsell them on the next thing or it's a relationship. So you're continuing to build the relationship. And that's all email is to me is a really great relationship builder where I'm able to educate you, I'm able to learn more about your needs and what you're wanting to hear from me and provide that to you.
Mm. Yeah, I hear that. Like basically relationship, building community, and like, yeah, working on that. And like this is the thing, like I don't know, like I would say when you say a lot of lists are passive,
Mhm.
and I don't think there is a lot. I think many people don't actually think about the list they truly build and sort of like put in sort of subcategories. Say it was like
Right.
you get like email addresses where it's just a landing page, but or
Mhm.
if you're getting an email address which is connected to particular articles or whatnot.
Right.
I
Right.
I I don't know how active people like sort of play that game. Like
There's no strategy. There's
ah
no strategy behind it. So, people have the contact form on their website
mm,
that just puts them on the list, but you're not giving them anything specific or it all starts with strategy.
mm,
So I don't want nobody on my list just to say I have a big list. I want you on my list because I eventually want you to become my customer,
yeah.
And so if you go in with that mindset, you're going to be more strategic
Oh,
about what you're putting out there, why you're putting it out there, and the pathway to get there. So I usually for my clients set up at least two lists. You should have a main list and your customer list.
mm,
And so everybody goes onto the main list and then branch out to a customer list. But then you also might have a webinar list. You might have a podcast list because your podcast listeners might have different needs than from just somebody who just happens across your website. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So you really want to begin the segmentation there at kind of just some broader things and really be strategic. And I, there's so much technology out there to help, oh, this makes it easy. Just get a MailChimp account, just do this, da, 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 da. But you really need to sit down and think about what I'm what do I want to offer?
Yeah.
And how do I want to get people to that eventual offer? So it starts with my lead magnet. Then what's the next thing? Then what's the next thing? So everything should connect, everything should flow nicely together to the ultimate step, which is to make the sale and
Mm,
then to turn them into repeat customers. And all that can happen in your email list.
yeah. It how can I put it? Like I think some people just like think it's just yeah. You mentioned MailChimp and just like yeah, the sort of tools which are out there, which
Mhm.
let's say it's made things a hell of a lot easier because
Right.
it's like okay, MailChimp, yeah, you got that. Like Squarespace, Wix to get your website if you want to.
Mhm.
Like you can basically get a business type situation up and running.
Quickly.
Yes, and fairly, I would say, not overly expensive, but you know what
Mhm.
I mean. But when you don't like putting all that together, as you say, without a strategy, it's not the best way. Well, it's not going to work.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So once you hit a certain number of people, even on an email list, once you hit a certain number, many people find themselves scrambling like, oh, I need a different email tool. Now
Mm,
I got to move all these people from here to here. You see what I'm saying? And then it becomes much more complicated.
yeah.
Or, stuff starts breaking because what you started in wasn't built to handle what happened quickly for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why you have to start with that strategy first and consider all the scenarios. And business owners typically, that's not the fun, sexy part of business.
I know. Fun and
They're
sexy.
like, I like to skip past that, but it's so crucial.
I can see it now. Fun and sexy email lists.
Yeah.
Do you like this email list? Is it really hitting the points you want? Is that
Not really.
no. Like, so when you go in, you're asked to come in, you mention the email list, you talk about social media. Like what would you say for a sort of typical business? This should be your foundation. What would you normally say to someone?
Usually when I go in for the strategy part, I assess what they have first.
Mm,
Like, what technology do we have? Okay, what gaps are we missing? And then I help them identify what's one thing you're wanting to accomplish. Like, is it to sell this particular program? Great. What do you need for that? At the bare minimum, every business should have a way to capture leads, a way to nurture those leads, and a way to, process payment and deliver your product. So
mm,
you need a website. It doesn't even have to be a full website. It could be landing pages, like a series of landing pages to your lead magnet offer, sales page, whatever. But you need your home base. You need something you own.
mm,
And then you need uh, an email marketing system, whether that's MailChimp or ActiveCampaign. I use ActiveCampaign because it's just much more robust and much more what you can do. There's so much more you can do with that, especially with segmentation and automating things. So you need a way besides your just regular Gmail account to send out and nurture the people on your list. You need
mm,
a way to collect that. And you need a contact records management to hold information. So, like with Active Campaign, that's built in. So, I got two tools in one.
mm,
And then you need a way to capture data, whether that's Google Analytics, which is free, or some other analytic service. But Google Analytics is pretty easy to at least plunk on there and start drawing out data, so you can make informed decisions on your campaigns, on your emails that you're sending out, on your products, on your social media posts that you're sending out.
mm,
Those are kind of some foundational pieces you want. You want your home base. You want a way to collect leads and send out information, and you want a way to track and look at the data of everything that you're doing.
No, I hate.
And document, and a place to document, which can just be a pen and pad if that's what it needs to be, or Evernote or something like that. You got to capture those processes down out of your head. So you and get down, what do I do every day? What do I do every day to get a customer and then to service that customer? What does that whole process look like? So
You know what? I just listen to you talk, and everything you're giving out, the information, I love it. But this is the thing that one thing what sort of comes to my mind is now with some of the antics you most already seen over the course of the years, what has been your shake your head moment? What was shake your head moment to come up, which you've looked at and going, oh, why, child, why?
huh. Mm. There has been, mm, I, I, I would say, well, one thing is when people like a lot of businesses, they do networking, especially like these local businesses, they do a lot of networking. And so you get the business card, right? You
Yeah.
exchange business cards, it's great. And they automatically put them on their list, on their email list. You have not asked permission.
Yeah.
They don't even know they're going on your list, and then you just start emailing them from that. Like, that is such a no-no. Like, that'll get you in email jail. Like, that is spam. Like, you can't do that just because somebody gave you their card. There's all type of consent. You can't do that. So that's a big offender. Like, a lot of people do that. And um another, I'm big on nurturing through email, is just this blind hop in my DMs and pitch me, and I don't know you. Or you just friend requested and I don't know you, but you're pitching me your service. Like, don't do that. I don't know
Yeah.
who that's working for, but don't do that.
Like, that's a classic, because like one of the things, like if I'm on LinkedIn and I'm looking for people to come on my podcast, I will send a connection with
Right,
like, the blurb, like, this is like the reason why I'm getting in contact with you. I'm a random
right,
stranger to you.
right.
Yeah. But it's like, okay, but what I dislike is when someone like sends a connection and like they don't put anything there. You're like, okay, like, oh, accept it. And like, as soon as you accept it, like, the fastest I've ever had someone like literally pounce on me. It wasn't even 2 minutes. Like, pow. I'm like, oh, wow. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming.
I hate that. Or when they do that, and what they do say, if they had just read your bio,
Yeah.
they would have known their answer. I'm like, okay, you didn't even read, so no.
Or the classic one, they'll send you all their blurb, but which has been copied and pasted, but they get the
Right.
name wrong, and you're like, going,
Oh.
like, you're sitting there like, okay, you had to just get one thing right. It's not Samantha.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, mental.
Yeah, you got to have a relationship. You can't skip over that. Like, it's got to come from a sincere place. However you get in touch with people. Um, I personally also don't like ugly websites with just 10 billion pictures but no information. Because you can have an ugly website, but it needs to have the information people came to get. And most people, they when they put up a site, it's to their liking. And I always ask them, are you your customer? Are you going to pay yourself? No, then nobody cares what you like. You gotta design for what your ideal client, who you're wanting to buy from you. You gotta get in their shoes.
Yeah, no, like this is food for thought for me. I'm like, that's how is it? Yeah. Don't go to my website, people. Not yet. There's sitting there like a.
Do you have a call to action on there at least? Because that's a big offender. If there's no call to action, I land on your site. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to call you? Do you want me to contact you to be on your podcast? What do you want me to do? If I get on there and I just see a bunch of pretty pictures in your bio, okay, that's great. I learned a lot, but what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You gotta tell people what you want me to do. I want you to call me. I want you to book a call with me. I want you to apply to be on my podcast. That needs to be in the top.
No.
Call to action.
I hear you. Because like this is the thing. When you say call to action, like I think, well, Here in the UK, I think it's a case of sometimes like people don't want to be overly pushy, but I can't say it's just a UK thing. I
Hmm.
say that because I'm freshly in it, and the
Right.
reason why I don't like sort of make that automatic assumption is because America being a larger market, if you get what I
Mm.
mean, there's a
Yeah,
lot more
yeah.
people like, hey, but that's
It's
the sort of
we're
what top
competing a
percent, yeah.
lot.
Yeah, but that's the top sort of 1%, if you get what I mean, top 10%.
Hmm.
But there is a larger pool of people which are like, I don't really want to be pushy. It's
Right.
rude. Yeah. It's like I'm no good at this. And you're like you're sweet and all, but
Right.
you're not gonna get seen, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a mental shift because I used to be like that, like I don't want to bother nobody, but
Mm,
but that's why you're in business, to make sales, and you're not bothering them if you're really providing a solution that they've been looking for. There are people out there who are looking for the thing you have.
mm,
They might been praying, crying about it, can't sleep at night, really searching for it. And you have that. So it would be rude for you not to share that and make them hunt all over your site to get to that, you
yeah,
know? So you're providing a service, just like sharing with a friend, like, hey, I ate here and I loved it. You should check it out, you know? you
yeah,
you don't have to be just rah rah in people's face. It's just subtlety, but definitely tell people what you want them to do on your site, and even in your social media posts. You should always have a call to action. Um, we've been motivated to death, you know what I'm saying? So, link me to something, even if it's to link me to other articles you've written, something that you enjoy, what's the call to action? Hey, the call to action is I want you to read this article because I found it interesting and
mm,
da 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 da. Call to action. I'm not selling you anything. I'm just sharing something that I found helpful that I think you'll find helpful. And then in between that, you sprinkle your main offer that you're wanting people to get to. So,
yeah. No, I hear
but
that.
it's definitely a mindset shift.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Like call to action, getting people going, like going, right, let's
Hmm.
move this forward. Like it is, it still always surprises me when people like go, okay, you know what? And I'd say it's more being more so highlighted now where people have had a lot of time to sort of think about which sort of which direction their lives are going in and stuff like
Right.
this. And like they go, okay, yeah, I want to start a business, I want to do this, but like they, they don't seem to look at the sort of roadmap of other people which have gone before them. It's like you're like going, right, this person has been successful. They do a very similar thing to what you want to do. Why are
Hmm.
you not studying every sort of facet of what that person's done to sort of like push themselves forward? You know?
Right. Some people, it's because they're seeing it might make them feel inferior.
Mm.
So instead of seeing that person doing great and seeing it as, hey, that's what I could be, I can do that. This person is showing me I can do that. And they're taking it more in as, oh, they're way ahead of me and I can't. And then you're just all in your feelings. You know what I'm saying?
I, I love that saying. You're all in your feelings.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, oh, they got another customer. Great,
Yeah.
But they're showing you what's possible. So you should be studying what they're doing. You
Mm.
should be showing up where they're showing up because hey, there's enough for everybody out here.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this is the thing. Like it's like you go, okay. Yeah, they might be ultra successful now, but you know what? That game wasn't how it was always.
Exactly. They didn't see the years before that, the hits and misses, you know what I'm saying? We always, again, with social media, we always come in on the highlight
Like,
of
yeah.
real. we don't see the low
No,
point,
yeah.
the hours they spent, what they lost in between while they were building the business. We don't see none of that. And I think, I appreciate when I see business owners and entrepreneurs sharing
Mm,
like their beginnings, like this was me years ago and this was my first video and it sucked,
yeah.
but now I have this fancy production. But you see, this is the progression. And so I appreciate those type of vulnerable, open, because that shows the real path and not this fairy tale path of you just wake up and you got 1 billion followers and now you're flowing in money. Not how that works
Yeah.
for
No,
for the majority.
yeah, I hear that. I hear that. I think also with regards to people getting caught up in the emotional side of things, like, would you say like you helping people like over like 20 years ago, like sort of like with like sort of reducing the product, like the clutter in their houses. Would you say that sort of helped you with the sort of like, I mean, the emotional side of things with that?
It definitely did, because as an organizer, you was also therapists,
Mm,
because you was having people think through, why am I keeping this?
yeah.
Your world will not collapse if you get rid of that. And just listening to them, let them talk through stuff. So that's definitely helped now, not
Mm,
only with just how I think when I'm organizing your processes, and we're coming up with strategy for your campaigns and stuff, but just the whole psychological piece. Like I like to think I help you think through, the different scenarios, and like, okay, let's be real. Is that how that's gonna go? Or, like I said, when, people are like kind of fighting me with, they can't, they get super obsessed with how their website looks instead
mm,
of just launching and getting on with it and seeing if it works or not so we can get some data. They're still caught up on color and this, that, and the third, just
mm.
having to step in and be like, no, let's step back, like for real. And bringing those hard truths out. You do play therapist too.
Uh, uh, it's like, can I have a hug, please?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you can't have a hug. Sort it out. I really need that hug. Okay. I love it. I love it. So with what you're doing right now, like, is there like a plan for the next, say, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months? What is sort of like your plans, like going forward from like this light at the tunnel moment, at the end of the tunnel moment after COVID?
For me, I just really want to help more businesses get that marketing automated, get their
Mm,
marketing and sales systems up and running, get it automated. Um, I take people through at least 2 phases. It's actually a 3 phase, but the third phase is more maintenance. But I take them through strategy first.
mhm.
Then we get to, I do the building for you, because as the business owner, that's not something you should be doing. You shouldn't be building your own stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have a general overview of how it should look and how it should work, but you need to do what you're good at, which is whatever service or product you're providing. You don't have time to be now the technology officer too,
Mm,
So I build that out for them, and then I help them maintain it if they want to go that third step. So, like, that is what I'm focused on for the coming year, is just getting more businesses. I'm in the process of becoming a certified automation service provider through my mentor. He just kicked off his certification program at the end of last year to get more of us out there helping these businesses, because there's such a huge need
mm,
for businesses. Like, you have your digital marketer, who will, put some marketing stuff together. But as an automation service provider, I can kick that up a notch and really put those systems in place that'll grow with you and your company. So that is my plan going forward this year. And, especially I I there's always going to be something coming down the pike, the next pandemic, the next this. So you don't want your business caught like a lot of businesses were caught last year with their pants down,
Yep,
you want to be
absolutely.
ready. And this is the time to be ready while we're easing back into things. It's kind of slower.
Mm,
So this is the time to get all that, to get this foundation in place, to take this time, because once everything is open back up and people get back to how they were, it's going to ramp up again, and you're going to find it harder and make the excuse for why your business can't get automated right now, because I just
mm.
don't have time to learn that. I don't have time to make these decisions. But so this is the time.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. This is the time. Like, I am curious, with regards to yourself, like your sort of journey into business, your unique journey into business. What would you say what was like one of the most challenging points in your business, and one of the most, how can I say, um, glorious points in your business?
The most challenging, I've had a couple of spots here, like 2016. Um, my mother gotten really sick, and
Mm,
I was going through a divorce at that time, and I had little kids. But because my business was automated, my business didn't stop. It was able to carry on while I handled everything.
mm,
And then uh again, I would say about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, um, we had to move out of one house quickly. And again, because everything was automated, I was able to do what I needed to do and focus on what I need to focus on without my business dropping, without
mm.
it shut down, without me anybody knowing what's going on in my personal life. That's the beauty of that. The most glorious times has been, I would say, this past year. Like, uh, last year was not a terrible year to me. Yeah, it was challenging being in and stuff, but I had more clientele. I had more people finally started taking, now you want to hear what I have to say. So uh that has been, and it's just continued, like, as more and more people are either starting businesses now, or they like working from home and want to do more of that and don't want to go back in, and get this, it's been nice being able to provide that knowledge and help these businesses like grow and take their business to the next level. Even the ones that have been doing really good. I mean, I have one client that is in my, I mean, she does what I do basically,
Yeah.
but she doesn't have time to do it for her own business. So it's like the cobbler needs shoes because she's grown so much. So I'm able to implement what she does for her clients for her. So her still look like if she had the time to do it herself, she could do it for you. You know what I'm saying? Because when you grow with a team, you don't have. I found it's just like that hairdresser whose hair isn't done because they're so busy doing everybody's hair.
Yeah.
you know, so they have to find time to go to somebody to do their hair.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Same concept.
Okay. Yeah. So with that, have you built a team yourself? Because it's one of those things when you have automated processes in play, but
Right,
if you want to upscale, you need a team.
right. Now, I have not built a big team. I do have a VA.
Hmm.
Uh, who handles like my admin stuff, my social media stuff, because I had to get out of that. And then, I have my daughter, you know.
Come here, child. You got to do
Right.
the work.
Who's in high school, and we're actually talking with some of her other high school buddies who are looking for, hey, you got something for us to do during the
Mm,
summer to put on our college resumes. I'm like, I have plenty of stuff for you to do. uh, but I think going forward, as I get more clientele, I will have more implementers like me who
mm,
actually do the building. Because right now I keep it at a cap of how many people I'm gonna work with a month or whatever.
yeah,
So I don't get burnt out, and so I don't start turning out crazy stuff.
I hear that. I hear that. Yeah, because one of the things I often see when people are doing their own business, like they start out, I'm a one-man band, like they're
Right.
doing it all, like I'm wearing many hats and like trying to let go of that sort of control because it's my baby. Don't
Right.
come in the way
It's
of my
hard.
baby. I'll punch you if you come near my baby. And like you go, right, everything's going so well, and like what I mean, they're killing it. But it comes
Hmm.
to a point where it's like, okay, the business sort of like grows as far as it can go. And
Right. Right.
anything more falls apart. So it just
Right.
stays at that one level, and you're like going, okay, start bringing in people. And look, I know
Hmm.
with the power of automation, it's like in my mind, I always see it as it's the power of helping you save time.
Right.
And with
Right.
that, and the power of building a team, it's about, yes, saving time, taking like
Hmm.
where you can focus as a business owner on other things, but
Right.
other things you can just put to the side. There's this
Hmm.
YouTuber called Ali Abdal. He's like a productivity sort of YouTuber. And
Hmm.
like one of the things, he's like basically based here in the UK in Cambridge. Like he's a former doctor. But one of the things it goes, right, if there's anything which he goes, like his time and money, he goes, if it costs £20 an hour, I
Hmm.
outsource that to someone else because
Hmm.
I can be making far more money doing X, Y, and
Exactly.
Z. And yeah, you must like, do you run into that a lot, like in other people, or like is it something you still experience within yourself as well?
A little bit of both.
Mm.
I'll definitely say years ago, I was not interested and I thought I had to do everything because
Yeah.
hey, nobody can do it like me. Uh, but as I had mentorship and coaches and seeing other business, there are certain monthly money levels you're just not gonna see by yourself.
Mm.
You, you cannot see that by yourself, or unless you want to kill yourself, and then all that money is spent on hospital bills, or you're not here to enjoy it. So, like, what's that point? So, um, and as far as my clientele, definitely I've seen the whole me, I gotta do it. I
Mm.
gotta control it. Or I would love to outsource that, but again, everything's in my head and I'd have to take time to show them and da da
Mm.
da. And that's why I'm like, get all that out of your head, get it on paper, get it in a video walkthrough, whatever, so you can just hand it over and anybody can pick it up. You know, anybody can pick it up. That one client who I'm helping her stuff, she had to see a certain money level.
Yeah.
She ended up in a 2-month period hiring like 5 people, just to get, because she realized it can't all be on me. you know, I can't be doing all this. I gotta have people doing different jobs, and
Mm.
and again, if you have those processes documented, you can save time by not having people do the wrong job, because that can cost you too. You might be outsourcing, but maybe you have your VA trying to be the technology officer, or the VA be the operations manager. Like that don't work, So, and that's what happens when you don't have things written down or mapped out.
Mm,
It's confusion. You just dump on whatever body's there, like, hey, just make this happen. And that ends up wasting even more time. So you do get a lot of that relinquishing control, relinquishing micromanaging, so your business can grow. And you, as the CEO, have more time to do what you're good at, what you love, which is being a visionary,
mm.
which is, you might be great at bringing in the sales. So that gives you more time to do that instead of doing what one marketer I heard say, put the pickles on the bun,
What's on the bun? you, you are full of metaphors. I like it.
Yeah.
It's like if I can't put a good metaphor into a sentence, it's not worth it. Oh, I love it, love it. So with like obviously you're a great communicator and all that. Like how do you? Oh, it's true though. It's true. So how do you get your sort of message out there to like let the people know I mean this is me and how I mean like I can help with your business. How do you do this?
Um, Social media, being on podcast. I can tell you, I have not been the best at that because I'm an introvert.
Hmm.
So I would hide behind the computer in the background. But one of my coaches, like, hey, you got to stop being the best kept secret. You got to get out there. Uh, so it's a lot of word of mouth. It's a lot of doing more. Like this year, I'm trying to concentrate more on LinkedIn. So I
Hmm.
want to do more video content, just educating people on LinkedIn. Because that's something easy you can do, and then of course you can put it on YouTube. And I like to repurpose stuff. I blog. I have a blog. I have a podcast, although I don't haven't been super consistent with it, because there was no strategy behind it when I launched it so many years ago. Just like, oh, everybody got a podcast. Let me have a podcast because I like to talk to everybody else. Again, that's one of those things when you don't have a strategy behind it, it's easy for it to kind of lay dormant.
I hear that. I hear that. Yeah, because like I was looking at your like YouTube page earlier today, and I was like, like I'm gonna say it, but it's like yeah, like the last video was about a year ago.
Yeah, when I
Like,
was doing Facebook Lives. Yeah.
ah, yeah, yeah, because like this is the thing. Like at this present time, look, I would like people like go, oh, YouTube is super saturated. Oh, this like doing podcasts is super saturated. It's like no, but like the whole thing is like yeah, your communication style, getting in contact with people which need to know this because if they really want their businesses to take off, automation, like well, automation is key to helping you with your time management and basically most really your general sanity when you're in the realm of business, like starting out by yourself. Woo, it ain't easy. It ain't
Right,
easy.
right.
But getting that message out, I think we're like using the medium of Facebook, video, YouTube, that type of thing. And like, yeah,
I
podcast.
really I really want to, which is this year, I actually have mapped out a strategy
Okay, okay.
for this. I really I have so much content that isn't up anywhere.
Ah.
Um and again, having the VA go through and put some stuff together, I really want to utilize YouTube more.
Mm.
Uh because I go to YouTube all the time, every day, actually, and watch loads of stuff on different topics I'm interested in. And so I'm like, that's a great platform to get my newer stuff out. You
Mm.
know, again, even though the stuff that's on there now is still relevant, I have even newer stuff, right? And and I want to, again, now that I have a better strategy,
Mm-hmm.
there's some stuff you got to rework on YouTube, right? You got to have those descriptions right. You got to have you know. So just being more intentional about that, intentional about getting out content on LinkedIn, being more I guess I would say about a year and a half ago, I had a private Facebook group and I went live in there all the time. That's why you don't see the content. There's content, but it was in the private Facebook group. But again, it was full of the wrong people, the wrong audience.
Ah.
So it was kind of like falling on deaf ears of people who really didn't have a business or didn't have a real business. They
Yeah.
kind of had a like a side hobby hustle, whatever. So they didn't really have aspirations to like, yeah, I want to make money at this and provide a living. So
Mm.
I ended up closing that down. And as I'm more over in the marketing automation side, I'm like, I'm basically in a rebrand again. Like reintroducing myself. That's who I
Mm.
am. This, again, that's why I got on the podcast because I'm like, hey, people got to know here I am,
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Like getting out there, doing the podcast. Look, as things are starting to reopen in,
Mhm,
well, here over in the United States as well.
mhm, mhm.
Like was it Gary V? Yeah, it was Gary V's book. He was like he had like there was a guy who what like became the sort of quote unquote the king of LinkedIn, where he
Mhm.
basically sort of organized like sort of LinkedIn sort of meetup, not
Oh yeah,
parties,
yeah.
like meetup events. So it's like, yeah. So basically, yeah, everyone met up and then he would sort of like do things there. Didn't sort of do business directly, but because he was
Right.
just providing that sort of, yeah, people to meet up, talk, connect.
Mhm.
Because let's be honest, you can connect with a million one people in this day and age, but the whole point is you don't really have a real connection until you have a real good conversation with them.
Right.
Because like, look, I've
And
like,
is it the right people?
well, yeah, is it the right people? Like, because I podcast and stuff like this, some of the people I like, especially over the last 18 months, it's been
Mhm,
like down to connections with podcasting.
mhm.
Yes, it's the people I want to talk to and have that
Right.
build that communication with. So yeah, but if you looked at my LinkedIn profile with regards to just sort of like the every sort of day sort of, yeah, 9 to 5 work situation.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I won't lie. There was a many a year where it was like just spray and pray, spray and
Right.
pray. Yes, I, yes, I,
I
and
mean, you don't know what you don't know.
yeah,
So
absolutely. And you're kind of like, oh, okay. so, so to say like I can't even remember how many my number is, but it's like, yeah, it's it's X, but I'm only gonna get maybe Y to be like, okay,
right.
I know you, and like stuff like this.
Mhm.
And with regards to the sort of quality of that Y,
Right.
it's I'm not gonna say it's gonna be the best or not the best, but it's a case of you don't really know until you know, if you get what I mean.
Right.
No,
Right.
until you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. So do you think you're like, because you're doing like you've got a plan in place, is like sort of running your own events, say sometime in the future, going to be in that plan or whatnot?
Yeah, I'll tell you before, I'll say even 2 years ago, locally,
Yeah.
uh, one of my coaches, she would do like a 2-day conference and I would be a speaker at that conference.
Ah.
And then before that, she used to do a retreat and I would be a speaker at that retreat. But then everything got shut down because we had actually had plans to like do. once a year do these, conferences, like bring your laptops,
Mm.
and let's get some of these foundations in place kind of work deals going on. And then I even thought about even doing that, on a quarterly basis, maybe
Yeah.
having a bunch of business owners come in, you know, bring your laptops, let's have a working session together. And that's not off the table. I'll say that. Probably, I don't know if it might be next year, maybe when everybody's fully vaccinated. It's still kind of wonky where I'm at. Like some places, yeah, they're fully open, but who
Mm.
knows?
Yeah. I hear
I'm
that.
fully vaccinated, but again, people are whatever. So, you don't know. So, but that I would be open to in-person events, because even before, when I was just organizing people's digital workspaces and did cloud, I would do in-person workshops where I'd show them how to do Evernote or show them how to use a certain tech tool,
Yeah.
and I would run that. It'd be like a 4-hour workshop, and I walk them through everything, so that's definitely, it's not off the table. But again, it would have to make money sense.
No, I
and
hear that.
and finding the space, because space is kind of hard to find that is at a reasonable price without it being ridiculously high here in Nashville. So
Yeah, like yeah, Nashville is like when I hear Nashville, Tennessee, like the first thing what comes into mind is country music when I
yeah,
hear Nashville. And so like basically I I'm only like this is my sort of assumptions. It's like I imagine that city, your city, is a city which it like when it's up and running is quite active, sort of
yes,
like maybe 5 days out of the week or maybe 7 days out of the week.
it's
Rather,
very packed. Like before COVID, we have all genre music here.
oh yeah.
And then we have, the Predators and the Titans, all these professional sports here too. Um, but our Nashville, before COVID hit, was the top destination for bachelorette parties.
Okay. Wow.
So there was every freaking day there's a bachelorette party toiling through downtown, like loudly. And that was surprising to me because I was born and raised here. I was like, what? Why?
It's like just like girls in limousines going woo.
Yes, on those double decker party buses and the pedal beer pedal things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's like, what are you guys doing?
Right.
It's looking like, huh.
I think it'll probably be that again because they just opened downtown with no restrictions now. So
Yeah.
people have been clamoring to get back down there from all over.
Uh-huh.
Like people swarm on downtown.
Yeah.
So
It's like, yeah. Are you kind of looking forward to downtown being back open again? Or are you like kind of like I preferred it when it was a little bit more quiet?
I prefer when it's quieter because I could actually get through there. When it's crowded, I'm like,
It's like,
ew.
stay away from me. It's like,
Exactly.
I just want to go home,
Right.
put my feet up, have a nice cup of like mint tea or whatnot.
Right.
It's like you crazy fools going, woo! No, I don't need that. I don't need that in my life. No, no. Yeah, I have to say, look, you need to get back on that YouTube lifestyle. And like when you're talking about like helping people use apps like Evernote and stuff like this. I know you did a 4 hour, like you mentioned, 4 hour seminar, but like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? If you could just teach people the little basics on a YouTube video here, there,
Right.
and there, just tutorials, just like, yeah, light stuff. And like,
Right.
I think people
Nothing
like,
too heavy.
hey,
And why they need it. More importantly,
absolutely.
why they need it.
Yeah. Because like this is the thing. I think over the next 5 years, possibly the next 10 years, that there is going to be like the fundamental shift which is going to happen. People don't realize, some people might realize it, but I think most people don't. That people like when like after it sort of calms down and we're truly on the other side, there are going to
Mm-hmm.
be a large shift and migration of people doing different jobs or moving from different places. Like some
Exactly.
people have done it early, but most people are going to be like, yeah, okay, I've got a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit financially secure. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And when people go, ah, if they're going to do it, they would have done it now. No, not necessarily. When you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, all the bills on the earth coming at you, like walk
Exactly.
at the door. You can't like, and like, yeah, let's just say the job market over the last year and a bit has not been the most secure anywhere in the globe. So you know what I mean? Yeah. So you're like going anywhere. So you can't really say that. And I think people are going to
Exactly.
start making that shift. I think you're going to get people who are doing sort of things part time now, but
Mm-hmm.
get fully into it in no time at all.
And you really want to put these foundations in place as early as possible,
Mm,
because the more stuff you have, the more data you have, the
yeah.
longer of a process, to untangle everything.
I have to ask, like, there's one thing, one of the last things I will ask before I let you free out there into the world. Yeah, like you had to help people clear up their sort of data, sort and everything like this.
Mhm.
Now, with that, what was the worst email account you ever saw for number?
Hmm. As
1,000,
in,
2,000, 3, 4.
I would have to say my own. But that's my personal email.
I cleared up everyone's data. Just like,
Right.
yeah.
Except about
Look at my
I think
email
I did a
address.
blog post on that when I went through my own emails, and like I had like 13,000 unread. That's because I scanned through everything. I don't have to click on it. But yeah. But again, that's my personal email, the personal Gmail. That wasn't my company account.
Like,
I've actually just like revamped my uh email list. Like
mm,
I got rid of a lot. Like I went in there and just slashed it down to 100 folks, that I that I could see were taking action and doing stuff. So
mm,
I properly do what I'm having other people do. Sometimes especially when you rebrand, you might have to get rid of the list and start anew. So
yeah. Well, like this is the thing. There's no point in having a list of 10,000 if only 100 people are doing stuff. You know.
right.
So
Because
yeah.
it hurts your deliverability when you have a huge list and
Mm.
only say 100 people are opening. You're gonna end up in spam because they're gonna be like, "Oh, you got this huge list, but nobody really cares what you're talking about." So you might want to clean that list
Yeah.
up.
Get out of being all in your feelings, as they say.
Yes. Get out your feelings.
Yeah. Oh, dear me. Now, I have to ask, like, this is completely out of left field. Now, if you like, if you could have one of your favorite films, okay,
Mhm,
remade, okay,
mhm.
the whole cast of this film are Muppets, except one person who's a real actor, a real live actor. Which film would that be?
Hmm. Probably what's love got to do with it?
Okay, who would be the real life? Who would be the live actor?
Well, of course, Angela. Yeah, Angela Bassett. Yeah. And the rest Muppets. That would be hilarious. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Okay, I'm gonna have to rewatch that now.
Yeah. Rewatch that with in mind the puppets. Everybody puppets except for Tina.
Oh my Lord, no.
Especially Ike as a Muppet.
Oh God. Like I could just see like, yeah, a Muppet Ike coming through, like, yeah, okay.
I think the story would have been totally different.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Oh. Now I'm going to say it's like, yeah.
You're gonna leave this and go watch that.
Well, yeah, well, like this is the thing. I think it's gonna be like when I watch that, it's gonna be quite disturbing because no. Imagine them as Muppets. Imagine them as Muppets. That's some dark tea. It's like, oh, I have to say, yeah. Can you tell the lovely people how they can reach you, how they can get hold of you on these worldwide webs?
I am on organizingguru.com. That is my home base. I'm everywhere on every social media channel. Samantha Pointer Foxx, at Organizing Guru on Facebook, SPE_automates on Instagram, Sam Automates on Twitter. Everything used to be Organizing Guru, and then I was like, I gotta get away from that, because that was tied to when I was organizing. And I was getting people still coming to me talking about organizing. I'm like,
I kind of don't do that much anymore.
Right. Processes, but
someone like, okay, what type of organized guru are you then?
Right. So you can definitely, if you go to organizingguru.com, everything's listed there. You can get in touch with me there.
Awesome. Samantha, I have to say thank you for coming on today.
Having me.
Oh,
this
no.
Fun.
Yeah, outstanding. Love it. Like,
and you challenged me. Now I have to show up on YouTube all the time now.
Yeah, I'll tell you this now.
For the challenge.
Yeah, I will subscribe to your YouTube channel. If I don't see anything,
send me a message like, hey, where are you?
Oh, well, yeah. You know what? I'll give you a month. I just say, hey, what's going on? Just be like, hey. Like, get out of your feelings. Come on.
Right. From behind the computer, make us a video.
I'm doing it. Oh, brilliant. Let me just say thank you, Samantha. It's been a pleasure. It's been a joy.
Thank you.
No worries. And I'd like to say thank you to you, my friends, my life warriors out there. Please stay safe, stay well, be awesome, be excellent, be fantastic, be all the positive bees you can be in this world and then some. Have a great day. Peace. And we are